If you're thinking about incorporating ads into your podcast, there are two different ways you can do it. We have baked in ads, which means the ad is physically edited into an episode. Or you have dynamic ad insertion, sometimes called DAI. I have experience with both. But when I switched from doing baked in ads to dynamic ad insertion, I literally 10x'd my podcast revenue. Needless to say, I am a big fan of dynamic ads, and it's what I encourage all podcasters to do, especially shows that have a large library of content. Let me explain how I was able to drastically increase my podcast revenue practically overnight. I have a pregnancy podcast called Preggy Pals. When I first launched the podcast, there weren't very many options for dynamic ad insertion, which has to be done through your podcast host provider. So I did baked in ads instead. The price advertisers pay for ads is dependent on how many people are going to hear, or if you have a video podcast, see the ad. It's called a CPM, which stands for cost per mille or 1,000. The rates for CPMs vary, but this was about 15 years ago. So the rate was about $20. So I was getting paid $20 per 1,000 downloads. And each episode of Preggy Pals was getting about 2,000 downloads within a 30-day period. If you do the math, it's pretty sad. It means I was getting paid $40 for that ad. Now, every podcaster should get paid more than $40 per episode because we work our butts off, right? And I knew there had to be a better way. About 6 months later, I found a podcast host provider that had the technology to support dynamic ad insertion. So I started recording my ads separately from the episode. Then, through DAI technology, I was able to add ad markers to each of my episodes. This tells the system where the commercial breaks are in the show. I put 4 ad markers in all of my episodes. And these are episodes I previously released, as well as new episodes moving forward. At the time, I had about 20 episodes of Preggy Pals that had already been released. Through DAI, I was able to leverage all of my episodes to advertisers, not just the latest episode. So I could produce the ad and schedule it to run on all 20 episodes as opposed to just one. Instead of making $40, I made $400. I literally 10x'd my podcast revenue for the exact same amount of work. And that was just for one spot. Remember, I had 4 ad markers or spots available per episode. So if I sold all of my inventory, I would be getting 400 times 4 or $1,600 for 1 month. And it gets better. I had 4 more podcasts in addition to Preggy Pals, and I applied the exact same formula to all of those shows. Are you starting to see why I'm such a big fan of dynamic ad insertion? And now my company, Independent Podcast Network, is doing this for podcasts all over the world. If you would like to get involved, meaning you'd like to increase your podcast revenue, if you related to my story, click the link in the description for more information. Happy podcasting.